Hi. Oh, jeez, my voice. Hi, you're here with me, Grace, on Naked.Graced, episode 3. Honestly, this one I've procrastinated on for quite a few weeks because I don't know. I guess it's a really hard topic to talk about, even though it's been, I don't know, I can't math. 11 years? It's been 11 years or more. 11 years. Today we're going to talk about the fact that I had an abortion when I was 21. And it was really soon after my 21st birthday that I realized I was pregnant. And this was with the abusive ex previous episode. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I felt like my world was collapsing. I felt dirty. I felt wrong. I felt guilt. I felt shame. And the worst part was I couldn't really tell anyone about it. Because if you remember, I grew up in a very, very, very Christian household. All my friends who were in church my whole life were no longer really talking to me. And I didn't feel like this was something I could have brought up with them. My parents were also very, very Christian, and at that point we haven't reached the closest in relationship that we have now. So back then I couldn't tell them, even though I would have loved to have gotten my mom's opinion because she's a nurse. Basically, when I found out I was pregnant, I was devastated. I think I took like 3, 4, 5 pregnancy test kits just to be super sure. And I knew that I did not want to have this man's baby. I did not want to be locked into a lifetime of commitment, and I didn't feel it would be fair to the child to bring it into the world, which into 100% dysfunctional family, because I knew I wasn't going to marry this man and I did not want him to be the father of my offspring. At this point in my life, I don't even think I ever want to have children because it's personal choice. But back then at 21, before your entire brain had even fully formed, it honestly was so much harder. And nobody talks about getting abortions, you know what I mean? Nobody talks about miscarriages. Nobody talks about abortions. Nobody talks about IVF, trying to get pregnant when you can't. So yeah, it was just really me and my ex, and just trying to find resolution within myself, to find an answer, maybe. I don't even know how would I have described it back then. I don't know. I was just really honestly trying to bring my tools of Christianity for my whole life, and this decision that I knew that I needed to make, and trying to get them to make sense to myself. And that's really actually very difficult, because that was 20 years of the church telling you that if you have an abortion, it's wrong, God will judge you. And psychologically there was so much to unpack, and the fact that I had to do it alone with a man that I didn't feel safe with was honestly very, very traumatizing for someone who was 21. Yeah, sorry 11-year-old Grace that you had to go, 21-year-old 11 years ago Grace that you had to go through that, because that's really shitty. And I have a gut feeling that I'm not the only one who had to do a secretive abortion. and had no one to talk to about it. And if that's you, I know we're strangers maybe, but you can always feel free to reach out because I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, so I did it basically because I knew I didn't want to have babies with this man. I wasn't gonna have a family with him. I wasn't gonna have a long future with him. And I didn't want his genetics mixed with mine into a human being who wouldn't receive full love. And I certainly didn't want my child to have a father with anger issues and alcoholic tendencies. And I wanted my child to feel safe and loved and protected, the way I wish I was given that space to feel so safe that I could tell my parents anything. But that's in the past. What I did was just to look for the furthest and most obscure clinic possible that would do the abortion. And the doctor said to me, "Are you sure you want to do this? You're already 21, technically you're an adult, you can handle it." And it felt even more judgment because I felt like you don't know my story and you don't know what it would be like for me to show up to my parents' house with a bump in my belly and say, "Hey, I'm pregnant with this guy's baby and you guys already hate him." And I remember once when I was younger, I asked my dad, what is worse, that I never get pregnant because I'm infertile, or that I get pregnant by accident. Sorry, my dog. Yeah, that's my dog. Sorry guys. Jeez, that was so loud. Alright. Are we done? Are we done, guys? Right. So yeah, I remember asking my dad, asking him which was worse, if I could never have a baby because I was infertile, or if I got accidentally pregnant. And he said it would be worse if I got accidentally pregnant because it was my fault and it was my mistake. So that stuck with me. So when I had to do the abortion, I tried to find the most ulu. If you're not Singaporean or Malaysian, ulu means like out of the way, far out, rural, like just as far away as possible. Yeah, so I just tried to find the most ulu abortion clinic, and it was cagey. It was so cagey. They basically brought me upstairs into this like not operating theatre, and there were like 2 beds, there were no curtains, there were no sheets to cover, like I don't know, like it just didn't feel, it wasn't a hospital. It wasn't a hospital. It literally was the upstairs of a clinic, and everyone else downstairs had their big baby bumps and their partners, and they were all like in love and happy about the baby. And there I was, this embarrassed, ashamed 21-year-old trying to get this embryo out of my body because I just couldn't be a mom. I just couldn't be a mom. I couldn't even take care of myself, much less another human being. Yeah, so we went up, or I went up to this, the second floor of this Toa Payoh abortion clinic, and I remember crying while they put me under, and then waking up screaming and crying, and the doctor was like, "Relax, take a deep breath. It's just it's barely the size of a bean. It's, you know, don't freak out. It's no big deal." And I don't know how I feel about it, because on one hand, it had a heartbeat, but on the other hand, it's not technically a fully formed human being, and it was like maybe like 8 weeks. Couldn't tell the gender, couldn't tell anything. So I don't know, it was just really, really difficult for me to piece together the old Grace, the old Christian Grace, where I'd be on the stage of a church sharing about the Word of God, or playing the piano for the church band, or leading teenagers as a cell group leader. And this Grace in the Toa Payoh abortion clinic screaming and crying because she just had to end a life, or what would have been a life. Looking back now, I wish I could have gone to my mom and my dad. They are my biggest source of comfort, they are my home, they're my family. I'm an only child, so I have siblings and they really are all I have. And I love them so very much. I wish I could have told them about this back then. And I'm glad that I could have told them about this year. So 11 years after, sat my parents down for dinner and I was like, it's like, hey mom, dad, like we've built a really good relationship over the last decade. We've worked on it, I've gone therapy. They've amazingly somehow worked on themselves and found a turnaround to love me and accept me for who I am. They're okay with my tattoos now. And I think they've learned to trust me as a human adult individual, not just their child. So I sat them down and said, I need to tell you something because I think hiding things from you isn't the best for our relationship, parent and child. And I want to be as honest and transparent with you, and I want you to know what I went through at that point of time. So I sat them down, told them that I had an abortion, and they just hugged me. They just both embraced me, and also said that, yeah, like, you made the right choice. Like, that guy would not have made a good dad, and we did not want him in our family's lives in the long run. And it was a good choice because my life would have looked so different if I was right now the mother of an 11-year-old with a man who probably wouldn't be in the picture. And I wouldn't want that child to grow up thinking, where's my dad? Or how come I only have one mom? How come my mom's so young? Or, you know, I wouldn't wish that upon my child at all. And yeah, so I know a lot of people who have kept babies, whether they wanted to or not, and they're amazing parents and they're doing great, and I'm so happy for them. Personally, for myself, I don't think in that state of mind I would have been able to bring up a child. I wasn't financially able, I wasn't mentally able, I wasn't emotionally able, and that kid really would have had a fucked up life and it would have been my fault. So, well, I bear the guilt of abortion, although I feel like it's something that needs to be destigmatized because it's a choice, it's a permanent life decision, you know. You don't stop being a mom, you don't stop being a parent, you are a parent forever once you are a parent. I lost my train of thought. I feel guilt about it, but I don't feel ashamed anymore. I don't feel ashamed anymore. So it took me a really long time to get here, to forgive myself for having had to make that really tough decision. It took me a long time to come to terms with the fact that we just live with the consequences of the life that we live, and the choices that we make. And I know a lot of people would have made different choices. They say, oh, you could put your kid up for adoption, you could, I don't know, have the child and make things work. But it just wasn't the way for me, and I knew it deep in my gut. Even back then, when I didn't think I could trust my gut, I just knew that it was the right choice for me. It was the right choice for the potential child, because that kid would not have had a happy life. And the dogs again. And the world's hard enough as it is. The world's hard enough as it is. So, yeah. I think if we can take anything away from this, is if you've had an abortion before or are contemplating one, no guilt, no shame. It's your choice. It's permanent. Choose wisely, and don't let society, deter you from what you honestly feel is right in your gut. You will know. Your gut has kept you out of danger your whole life, and it'll continue to do so. Yeah. So trust your gut, trust your instinct, trust your intuition, trust what it says. Yeah, and forgive yourself. It's okay. Like, we're human. We fuck up. We fuck up all the time. Lord knows we fuck up all the time. Yeah, and in this generation, how can we do better? I think we can. It would be great if you are a parent right now, or if you're planning to be a parent, to have an open mind when you approach your child, and to teach them that they can always feel safe to tell you anything. I really honestly wish I could have told my parents all of this when I was 21. I really wish I could have gotten their support. I wish I didn't go to a dodgy clinic. I wish I went to a legitimate hospital with my parents and with people I felt safe with that time. And instead of just with the guy that I didn't feel safe with in a clinic that felt dodgy and with all the judgmental stares, I think if one place a person should feel safe, a child should feel safe and unjudged, is at home. In your home, in the family that you created. And that's our demographic, that's our generation right now, right? We're in our 30s, late 20s, maybe early 40s. And that's where we're having kids. You are building culture in your family. And if you could just give them that feeling of safety, that they can tell you anything, I think that would be such a beautiful way to live life. And the fact that they would never have to feel like they have to lie to you or hide something from you. Yeah, and I'm grateful now that I can tell my parents pretty much everything. And I'm also very thankful that I was able to talk to my aunt about this, and just to feel that love, validation, not judgment, and also feeling for once after so long that someone understands and that they back me, they had my back. They actually had my back the whole time. I just didn't dare to talk about it for so long, and it really took a lot to dig deep into the darkest year of my life, which at age 21 it's meant to be like, oh, your 21st birthday is such a big fat deal, right? And for me it was struggling with how the fuck am I supposed to deal with this baby inside me. And I think I speak for women when I say you only truly know what it's like when you're a female and you know that there's a life inside you forming. You can see it on the ultrasounds, they can hear the heartbeat, and you have to make that hard decision because it is what's best for you, it is what's best for the child. And I'm very sure that I made the right choice, not just for me, but for baby X, who would be 11 this year. I honestly can't imagine what kind of life that child would have had if I had kept it, or given it away. I just couldn't. So yeah, that's basically my abortion story. Oh, dramatic sound effects by the thunderstorms outside. I'm just gonna keep this short because it took me a lot to shoot this, record this. It's still hard to talk about because so few people talk about it. But I always believe the more light there is, the less chance darkness has. And if we shine light on our shame or our areas of shame, they no longer have power over us. And the secrets that we are afraid will come out. Actually, when I spoke to my parents about it in the end, they didn't disown me, they didn't yell at me. There was no judgment, there was only love, and there's only concern and care. And I'm so lucky and so grateful to have that. Yeah. I just kind of ramble on this one. I didn't really script it out or think of a storyline because it's just so raw. Speaking about abortions, it's never easy. Pregnancy, IVF, miscarriages, none of that is easy, none of that is spoken about, and so many women that I've shared this with actually have come out to say like they've been through their own reproductive system issues, and yeah, I don't know, I don't really know how to end this podcast episode because it's just so stuff. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's storming outside, very melodramatic. I think if you are going through, I'm just gonna end it by addressing anybody out there who is contemplating an abortion, who recently had an abortion, or you've had an abortion a while ago and you still haven't been able to come to terms with it yet. Forgive yourself. It's okay. We're human. We did what was right. We made the right choice for ourselves, and no one else can decide for you what is best, and no one else will really understand what it's like to be you, your circumstances, your situation. You do what's right for you, and remember that there's nothing to be ashamed of. It might take a while to get there, but it's better to make the toughest calls that's right for you than to live with a decision that you might regret for the rest of your life. And if you choose to keep the baby, please give it a safe space. Please give your child a space where they feel like they can tell you anything, and that they don't have anything to be afraid of, and that they are loved, and that they're wanted, and that you don't resent them. So yeah, gonna end it here, cause yeah.